Written and directed in 1994 by acclaimed Mexican filmmaker Lourdes Portillo, The Devil Never Sleeps is at its core a mystery story. After hearing news of her Tío Oscar's passing, Lourdes returns to her hometown of Chihuahua, Mexico, to uncover the truth about the mysterious circumstances surrounding his death. The film's lengthy logline discusses the documentary's core themes of betrayal, spirituality, and family, and references Portillo's experimental filming techniques. Portillo's past in film directing definitely shines through in this work. The documentary is very cinematic and bends the boundaries of traditional documentary making. Though the cinematography stands out, beneath the eye-catching visuals lies a thoroughly gripping narrative. The story strikes a wonderful balance between Portillo's personal journey of nostalgia and reflection as she returns to where she grew up, and the mystery surrounding her Tío's death. A litany of theories about Oscar's alleged suicide are brought to Portillo by family, friends, and outsiders. Contradicting timelines, lost evidence, and a deep investigation into the personal life of the eccentric Tío Oscar make for an enthralling watch. What the logline fails to mention, though, is what I view as the crux of The Devil Never Sleeps' narrative. The idea of truth, or rather, lack thereof. Portillo begins a documentary outlining the core themes of the story that is about to unfold.
When I dream of home, something always slips away from me. Just beneath the surface, faces of my family, old stories, the land, mysteries about to be revealed. And sometimes I dream of Santa Rita, patron saint of Chihuahua, my hometown. She's also the patron saint of unhappy marriages, boils, and desperate causes.
Portillo's reflection of her dreams and the patron saint Santa Rita of Chihuahua bring forth the themes of family, mystery, and betrayal. Following this foreshadowing, the following scene introduces our protagonist and antagonist, the dead Tío Oscar and his widow, Ofelia.
It all started when I received a message that my favorite uncle, my Tío Oscar, had died. Immediately I called his widow, Ofelia. Bueno? Sí, Lourdes. Luli. Sí. Luli. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, Ofelia? Muy triste, Luli. ¿Qué pasó? Estoy muy triste. ¿Pero qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó de qué? Con mi tío.
Visually, Portillo does a fantastic job of creating a context and exposition. To introduce the death of Tío Oscar, Portillo draws on the dead man's grave, and to bring the viewer into Chihuahua, Mexico, Portillo shines a torch on a map as mariachi music plays and the Mexican flag flies in the wind. We are now in Chihuahua with her. Following our transportation into Chihuahua, the characters are introduced. Through their interviews, various members of Portillo's family are framed uniquely as they provide their theories and recounting of events.
Entonces, fue cuando ya detuvo el carro casi, ¿no? Y que me dijo, pues, o sea, ¿que no sabes cómo murió tu papá? Y le dije, sí, pues, le dio un ataque al corazón. Entonces fue cuando ya empecé a notar que los dos empezaron a ver como que Ricardo no sabía, ¿sí? Que a mí no me habían dicho la verdad.
Estaba yo como unos 10 años y para una Navidad me trajo, trabajaba él en una imprenta, en Imprenta Palmore, y me regaló un lapicero así grandote con colores adentro. Eso fue para el 24 de diciembre. Pero ya como para el 27 de diciembre ya no lo tenía porque se lo trajo a la Escuela de Agricultura.
Fuimos una cadena indisoluble todos. Mi madre decía que teníamos que ser unidos siempre. No necesitaba decirnos que fuéramos unidos, porque lo éramos.
The opening to The Devil Never Sleeps is a fantastic example of creating suspense and getting the audience invested in a story.
Family rumors were spreading like wildfire. You see, a lot of intrigue surrounded Tio Oscar's death. Betrayal, revenge, devils and angels. The smell of mystery was stronger than in any of my dreams. So of course, I had to go to Mexico to find out what really happened.
Through curious narration and absorbing visuals, Portillo plants questions in her audience's minds, questions which could only be answered by watching the film in its entirety. Portillo makes herself one of the main characters of the story through narration and personal investigation. We are feeling her nostalgia, loss, and curiosity with her. We investigate with her. Though Portillo is the teller of the story, the film is not directly about her, but rather the protagonist, Tio Oscar. The Devil Never Sleeps uncovers his storied past all the way up to the moments before his death. The story is about him, his life, and his death.
In my mind, Uncle Oscar is still that young, enthusiastic man I knew as a child. It's impossible for me to think that he killed himself.
The death of Portillo's uncle is as personal as the story can get, and their conversations with their family members continue to uncover lies, secrets, and mysteries, all the way up to the conclusion of the film. We feel the hunger for answers with Portillo. Tio Oscar's widow, Ophelia, is another driving force of the narrative, though she is never interviewed on camera. Ophelia is one of the prime suspects behind Oscar's death, as family members tell of a marriage on the rocks, adultery, and greed.
Era una empleada parece que de una tesorería o de hacienda. Era una persona humilde, eran gentes pobres. Ella sostenía la casa, a sus hermanos. Ella era luchadora, luchó por sacar a sus hermanos adelante. Ella trabajaba para eso.
Later, Oscar told my mother, "At last, I have found someone who reminds me of our sister, Margarita."
Ophelia refuses to be interviewed on camera, further creating doubt in the audience's and Portillo's minds. What is she hiding? Why can't she speak like the rest of the family? What is she scared of?
She probably knew my uncle better than anyone. I'm wondering about her side of the story. ¿Está Ofelia allí, por favor?
¿Parte de quién?
De Luli.
Bueno,
Ofelia.
sí. ¿Aquí estás en Chihuahua?
Sí, acabamos de llegar.
¿Andabas en Sonora?
Sí.
Ah, sí. Supe que andabas allá.
¿Sí?
Ajá.
¿De parte de quién?
Uy, tanta gente que me habló, Luli.
¿Ah, sí?
Y anda, qué bárbaro. ¿Cómo recibí llamadas de tantísima gente?
¿Sí?
Recibí tu carta, Luli.
Ah,
Se
tú
me había olvidado
recibiste mi
decirte,
carta. Ah,
sí,
qué bueno.
Recibí tu carta.
Sí, porque quedamos en vernos.
Sí, oye, Luli, no, pues lo que me dijiste en la carta, a ver si que cuando vuelvas, a ver si ya me decidí. No, fíjate que no. De lo de la película, no.
Beneath these key narrative role players is a plethora of family members and community members alike. These characters share theories and accusations surrounding Oscar's murder, as well as anecdotes about his extremely interesting life.
Lo más probable es que alguien planeó y lo ejecutaron, o sea, decir que lo mataron a él.
Una vez que yo fui con él al rancho, me enseñó, cogía la tierra y me decía, mira, mira qué tierra, esta es tierra. Tiene limo natural que ha dejado el mar. Una tierra negra muy bonita.
De ese año en que se supone que se suicidó, que tenía que venir a cobrarle a Pancho Espriu una deuda de 250 millones.
What Portillo does well is develop the character of Oscar, making the audience sympathize with his passing as his history is unfurled through stories from family and friends and narration from Portillo. By evoking feelings of sympathy for Oscar and suspicion of Ophelia through his storytelling, Portillo increases the investment of the audience as they continue to seek answers to this mystery. The Devil Never Sleeps is authentically Mexican. The music choice, visuals, and language create an unquestionable atmosphere of Mexican culture.
Principalmente en el ámbito del trigo, del algodón y de las legumbres. No más que están jugando con fuego.
The instrumental music makes use of classic Mexican sounds, like trumpets, light percussion, and Mexican strings.
Yo soy el marino que alegre de Guaymas salió una mañana.
The cinematography shows the dry, mountainous landscapes, large friendly congregations, and the white and beige architecture of Mexico. Outside of Portillo's narration, characters and interviewees speak in Spanish, further evoking the truly Mexican setting of the documentary.
Pegados al mar. Entonces se presenta un fenómeno de intrusión salina por abatimiento del agua dulce. Ese abatimiento de agua es suplido por agua del mar, por gravedad.
Portillo swiftly and seamlessly creates a Mexican exposition, and along with the first-person narration, the audience is made to feel like they are with Portillo in Mexico, experiencing the unfurling of Oscar's story firsthand. Portillo was very inspired by Mexican telenovelas in the writing of a narrative for The Devil Never Sleeps. Many times in the documentary, short clips of Portillo watching telenovelas play intermittently during the narrative, either on an old box TV or reflected in her sunglasses.
Mala despiadada, sucia, se burla de ti una vez más, te engaña, te pone en ridículo, no te ama, Eduardo, no te ama!
The story of The Devil Never Sleeps is very soap opera-esque. A family divided, marriage problems, shady deals, and mountains of secrecy and mystery. The narrative unfolds to us as it does to Portillo. Though this is a great device to keep the audience's personal investment in the story, the narrative often feels long-winded and hard to follow.
Do something about it, don't you think?
I don't know. She might know and not want to do any more to lay peace, you know, to rest his soul.
There are a few plot points in the film that caught me a bit off guard and had me wondering whether they were necessary to the arc of the story. A key example being the very bizarre and sudden theory of Oscar's alleged homosexuality, which is introduced very late in the documentary and not deeply investigated at all.
De ahí se divulgó el hecho de que mi papá era homosexual o que ese cheque lo había entregado para taparle el ojo al macho, como decimos aquí en México.
The narrative switches well between past and present, brilliantly maintaining the two key storylines of Portillo's nostalgia and the mystery of Oscar's death. Nostalgia and reflection is depicted through reflective interviews and old home videos, while the mystery of the story is portrayed through theorizing and the present investigation of Portillo as she tries to uncover the mystery behind her tío's death.
Nunca me lo habías dicho, yo ya lo sabía.
¿Quién le había dicho eso?
Pues en Chihuahua me lo dijeron, hija.
The interviews of family members and friends do a fantastic job of providing a complete picture of Tío Oscar to the audience, as we almost feel like part of the family. This creation of a full character for Oscar is primarily used through reflection by these interviewees, overlaid by archive footage.
Era para todos nosotros un apoyo en el que descansábamos emocionalmente.
With a full picture of Oscar, the audience feels personally invested in uncovering the true circumstances of his death. In the present investigation, the narrative seems to never really come full circle. Anytime we think there is a lead or a breakthrough, Portillo and the audience are only left with further questions, which can be agitating. But perhaps this is intentional. There are three primary theories which are thoroughly investigated by Portillo and the documentary. 1. That Oscar's widow Ophelia had him killed due to an unhappy marriage and a grand inheritance.
Eran como 4 o 5 hojas, muy extensa, donde le decía a Ofelia lo bueno y lo malo de ella. Y una de las cosas que le decía es, me quitaste a mis hijos, primero fue Oscar, después fue Catalina.
2. Oscar was murdered by thugs or gangsters due to shady business deals.
De ese año en que se supone que se suicidó, que tenía que venir a cobrarle a Pancho Espriu una deuda de 250 millones. Entonces yo le comenté que, uy, si no tiene dinero para pagarle, ingeniero, no, Manolita, él me paga porque tengo escrituras de sus propiedades en mi poder.
Or 3. Perhaps the family are too skeptical and Tío Oscar did kill himself due to circumstances unknown. Perhaps his latent homosexuality.
Lo hace desde una cierta enajenación involuntariedad.
The narrative as a whole is reasonably well constructed, with dramatic and poetic narration and emotional interviews, but I felt let down a few times by periods of slow-moving advancement and left-field angles that either did not make sense or were not investigated thoroughly enough. The Devil Never Sleeps sets out a clear aim in its opening: discover the truth behind Tio Oscar's mysterious death. Through personal interviews, thorough physical investigation, and careful deduction by Portillo, this aim is tackled at all points during the film, but the truth is never discovered.
I came back to Mexico with a naive idea that if I pursued all the clues and found out all the facts, I'd uncover the truth, just like in the movies. Did Oscar commit suicide, or was he killed by a hired assassin? Maybe I'll never know. The only thing I'm sure of is that by his own choices, he contributed to his destiny. The family still holds tightly to its secrets, and once again I realize there are no clear answers, no simple solutions to life's mysteries, just half-glimpsed truths and tantalizing questions.
And this is the meaning of the documentary, and the point that Portillo is trying to make. It's a metaphor for life. Sometimes there is no truth. There is no answer. Portillo comments on the futility of unyielding curiosity. Portillo, her family members, and us as the audience spend the entire documentary seeking the truth and waiting on the edge of our seats to find it out. But we never do. It feels like a waste of time. Why did I sit through 90 minutes of investigation if I'm not getting the answer? Is that it? Yes, it is. Sometimes there is no answer. There is no truth. And it's best to leave some mysteries unsolved.